How are you,
I'm great, how are you?
I'm good. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this then. Fire away.
So, what's your background in sports like before you started Ultimate Kids?
So, I was a runner. I didn't. I sort of went through a phase of trying every sport, football, rugby, whatever was available in high school. And then I found myself joining like the cross country team. I was quite skinny, quite small, and I was good. I was good at it, to be honest. So that was sort of my sport that I pushed towards rather than going down like the football routes and football teams, which sort of went in my favour. Come obviously everything that's now happened with Ultimate Kids, because I don't just focus on that one sport. So with the multi sports that we did in like the schools and nurseries, obviously it carries over into the sessions that I do because I've got that knowledge in different sports. So yeah, I think that to answer your question there, my background is a bit of everything, but the sport I favoured, I suppose is a better word, was long distance run.
How did you go from that to let's start my own business?
Quite a long one, but I'll shorten it down because it's not too complicated. I pretty much left sixth form. I didn't want to go to university at the time. And I started looking for apprenticeships because at the time they were like the big in thing. And my cohort in sixth form was, it was either uni or apprenticeship. Sorry. And then I was just looking online, as you do on Indeed and all the job sites, and I came across I can't remember what it was, which was like a general sports coaching like role, and I'd applied for it and a few other ones, and I got the interview, went in, got my apprenticeship and whatnot, and later down the line I progressed in that company, and they had employed me full time, but the company was transitioning from going into schools like what we do now in terms of like the sports coaching side into college work. So I decided to hand my notice in a few years later for a sales job, which I hated, but I always had an idea that I wanted to start my own business. So I thought, well, a good way to probably do that is learn how to make a sale and to actually make some money. So I did that, and I can't say it was my favourite job I've ever done or favourite role, but I got to a point where, because it was a commission job, I wasn't making very much profit, to the point where I had to move in with other family members and whatnot, and I sort of went back to my roots and thought, well, what am I good at? How do I do this? And then, because during that period I'd went to university to do teaching, I'd signed up for like a few supply agencies, and they were sending me in to do different roles, whether it was like teaching or sports coaching stuff. And then I got offered another job, but I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was in like a construction industry, so it was completely opposite to what I was. It was full time. So I approached some of the schools that I was currently supply working in, and I'd said to them, I'm going to be leaving at the end of this term, been offered a job, doing this, that, and the other. And then a couple of the schools had said to me, instead of us paying a supply company, can we, pay you directly? We want you to stay in and carry on doing the coaching and the PE that you're doing. So I was like, well, I don't really know pricing for it or anything like that. I didn't know it's just like whether it's sustainable. So I went away and I spoke to a few people who, I'd met along the years being in like coaching and the school industry, and they sort of helped me price all that up, and I put it together, and I thought, well, I might as well make an effort and try it now while I'm still, fairly young, living with family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took the jump, did that. It wasn't easy to start, but to be honest, the rest's history. We're sat here today making a podcast, and it's not something that we're experts in. We don't even know how to film these things, but you know, here we are. So yeah, that's sort of a little bit of my background, how I got into Ultimate, like how it came about as Ultimate Kids, rather than you know the big cliche like, oh yeah, it's this, that. It was just that's my personal story behind it.
Have you ever had a moment where you think, why am I doing this? Or regretted starting Ultimate Kids?
Yeah,
Yeah?
all the time. But never a regret to start the company. So it's more of a thought of, this is hard, or you know, these are really long hours for what. But then it always goes back to the why. Why did we start? Why did we do this? You know, why have we got a team now? Why are we doing podcasts? That's not like that pays our wages as a job role. We're doing this, to try and spread the brand and obviously try and spread our reach in terms of offering the community, more opportunities to get involved in sport. So I don't think the word is regret, where regret starting, because I don't, and I never have done. I'm quite pleased to say that I've never regretted starting it. But sorry, but I think there is times when it does get hard, and I think that's the same for anyone. But I think if there's anything I could sort of say to anyone, would be a case of them hard times are worth it. You've got to knuckle down and solve the problem instead of quitting on it. So yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of hard times with starting your own business, being your own boss, but is there any big problems that you faced, or what's the biggest problem that you've faced in your journey so far?
It's probably a list as long as we are, to be honest then, but in terms of starting your own business, I've got a couple of friends who have recently started their own self-employed business, working for themselves, which is, great. I love seeing that. My partner at the moment's doing that same venture, and I'm all for it. But I think if there's any advice I could give for that, would be a case of just take action, just do it. Don't overthink. Yeah, don't overthink. Don't try and make everything perfect, because it won't be. It really won't. And then the next time, for example, it might be like a leaflet design we've been doing this week. The next leaflet you make is going to be better than the one you've done before. So it's just a case of just doing it and just taking action. But in terms of personal problems I've faced, probably dealing with you lot in terms of staff. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean that we're all individuals, and if you come from working it for somebody and working part of another business, it can be very self-centered. You're there for yourself. You're there because you might need the wage because you've got a lot of bills to pay, or you've got kids, whatever reason it is. But but I think making that transition, especially if I've been in a manager role where you have to actually oversee a team of people or give instructions or make decisions for other people, that can be very daunting and can be problematic for yourself more so than other people, because you might make a wrong decision that the staff might have trusted you in making that decision, and it hasn't went right, and obviously that comes back on you. So that's one of the biggest problems I've faced personally. But I think to contradict that, I think that's the best thing that's ever happened as well, in terms of bringing people on board and sharing the experiences. The team we've got, I say it all the time to you lot, and you're probably backing me up, I see you lot as my best mates. We're always doing other stuff together, going rock climbing now and stuff like that. So I think it's a personal problem at first to get your head around and get used to, but I think in the long run, problems like that are definitely worth, the hard work in the beginning.
Pays off.
Yeah.
Would you say that's probably the best thing then about being your own boss, creating the team around you? And
I think for different people, that answer would change. So I don't think I would answer for other people in terms of...
For you?
Yeah, I think for about being the best thing, about being your own boss, I always say I'm not a boss. Like I hate the term. Like I'm just in the trenches with you lot. You know, I wanna work on a day to day with you lot. I wanna help you out where I can. You know, I want you guys to help me. When you know, I'm not perfect. I struggle with an awful lot of stuff. So, you know, my personal thing about about starting your own company is definitely the team that we've now built around. At the start, it's very lonely. It definitely is, because you see all these people go out on like Christmas nights out. You know, we've got big massive teams behind them, and it's just you, because you were doing it all yourself at first. But now, some of the stuff that we do as a team, and it makes it all worth it. There's a lot of people who are there for, it might be the paycheck, or it might be the freedom because they can have time off when they want, but definitely for me would be about creating the right team as well. So it's not a case of just having loads of people working for you. It's about creating the right people you want to spend your time with, because at the end of the day, in the course of a 7-day week, the majority of us spend more time at work than we do anywhere else.
Yeah.
So then people that we can now say are our friends, we spend with them more time than anyone else. So personally for me, that's definitely definitely, if not the best thing, is definitely up there for me starting to my kids.
Going with that then, what's your favourite stand-up movie so far then?
To be honest, it's a daily occurrence for me. I'm like, I don't necessarily say it much to you guys, because it might not be a massive win, or it might not be, a very standout moment. But for me, turning up and seeing you guys turn up for the same goal that we all have, is a daily win. And it might be just something completely different, which makes that moment special at that time or that week. But I think some of the standout things for me that really do stick out was giving someone a full-time salary for the first time. That was a scary moment as well. But to say that I'd worked hard enough to offer someone else an opportunity
To be able to do that for someone else.
Meant the world to me. And I think that's a bit more like on the personal scale. Sorry, got a bit of a tickly cough here. But I think one of the moments, especially in recent months for me as a team, is our camping trip that we went on.
Yeah.
You'll have to excuse the noise, construction next door. That was not planned. But yeah, the recent camping trip we went on in August, where we run our, as you'll know, we run our camps during school holidays, and there's a lot of casual working staff who, we might only see every 6 weeks. And I think getting them together during during that week is great to see them. But again, we're all in the work environment. And then when we went on that camping trip, and I think it was a case of we had no signal. You couldn't go on your phone, you had to talk, we didn't have any schedule either, did we?
Yeah.
We turned up, we got in the cold water because, it seemed like a fun thing to do while we were in there. We walked around, we had good food, we had a couple of drinks. Like, that for me was one of my favourite moments.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Even Rob forgetting his clothes. It's like a 3-day camping trip with no clothes. It's moments like that make everything worth it. It makes it all come together. I'd like to think anyway that the people we have here as well will back me in saying that, like, we've created that work environment now that people want to be a part of, and like them camping trips, like, it makes you it makes you a lot closer as a team as well. It makes you look out for each other, and get each other's back a little bit more as well. So yeah, I think they're my 2 standout moments would be giving someone the opportunity and paying a full-time salary for the first time, and the camping trip. Yeah, the camping trip was a good one. It was.
Nice. So should we leave it on a high?
Yeah, definitely, because I've been drinking out of this cup now, and it's empty. So I need to move on. Nice chatting to you.
And you?